Oh, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Morning coffee with Dan. I got so much on my mind, so much to talk about what's going on in the world. I really don't even know where to start. But I think the main thing I'm going to start with is going to be um, why I decided to take on this cause, so to speak. Because the why of what you do, often determines the outcome of what you're doing. I'm aware of this. So it's no, I don't want to get my pound of flesh back. Uh, I have no axe to grind with the government other than the slavery they impose on all of humanity. And on a personal level, I have no axe to grind. I reburied that one, and you know, I, for all intents and purposes, won. I just think what we need to do as a society is quit living in so much contradiction, quit living in and accepting so much contradiction. Okay, uh, I'm not saying it was so much, you know, hypocrite, being a hypocrite. Um, at one point or another, everyone in their life's been like that. But the reason I'm doing this is because I was able to weed out the contradictions within belief systems. And since the contradictions within belief systems and me have been completely, have been completely weeded out, I can honestly say the reason why I do this, first off, is it really is to try to keep the oath I thought I was taking to protect. And the oath I took to protect and serve, I was serving something greater than myself, but it wasn't good. So the why isn't definitely about I want to get my pound of flesh back. The why is because I want to fulfill the oath I thought I was taking. And it makes me angry that I was fooled. I was bamboozled. I was wrong. Those fucking words that people can't say anymore. And I think it's that self anger at being fooled, at being bamboozled, that makes me want to, push forward and really fulfill the oath to protect. It's just, it goes across all of humanity now. And the enemy is some lizard someplace directing certain special people that is designated as its messengers and its whatever. And these are the high satanic beings. These are the higher level satanic cabal that really operate this world and keep everyone at war with one another, keep everyone at war with themselves, and keep everyone in this constant, confusing, contradictive state. Yeah, it's going to get worse. These are just puppets to what I'm talking about. They're powerful puppets, but they're puppets to what I'm talking about. You have to do some research, books to read, uh, almost anything by Michael Cesarian. He does a lot of research on Atlantis. I think his name is Billy Carson, does a lot on Atlantis now too. Listen to Mark Passio's work, all of it. Go to his website. Listen to every single thing he has on it. Uh, Jordan Maxwell. I'm sure I'm missing a few people, quite a few. William Cooper. Read his book, Behold the Pale Horse. That'll tell you a lot what's going on. You have to research. Okay, Michael Tillinger's Slave Species of the Gods. You have to research. I've died twice, so the metaphor of we're made in God's image is we are light and consciousness. We are a fragmentation of that. God's not some bearded dude in the sky. If we keep murdering one another and enslaving one another, and living within the contradictions that say it's okay to drop white phosphorus on Palestinian children, and we don't understand psyops. We only understand psyops when it benefits the people paying us. But when it doesn't benefit our paycheck or the people paying us, then psyops are just conspiracy theories. There are no red flags. These were order followers who thought it was okay to kill women and children. I just had this running on repeat. This is from one little one I did. I figured I'd leave it up here. It's not okay to ethnically cleanse an entire people. And I'm getting tired of seeing dead children in little flags. I'm getting tired of seeing this. And yes, it is order followers. Every order follower is culpable for this. Even police officers in this country, because you're gonna either not do nothing because you can't because it'll affect your line of work, or you're gonna do begrudgingly what you're told to do and follow orders. And I can't just following orders because so and so said it's okay. Well, it's not okay. You have to understand objective morality under God's natural law, under spiritual law. Um, that's another book you can read is Spiritual Science by Agent Ost. I mean, there's so many books I have in my head. I'm going to make a list and just throw them out here. Read, research, and become more uh, well-rounded with your knowledge to understand. What is people want to say that morals are subjective to a timeline or subjective to a culture. No, they're not. So they're ingrained in the laws of the universe, just with the law of magnetism, thermodynamics, gravity, uh, natural laws of consequential effects of human actions. And when human actions still and kill children, what do you think is going to happen to us as a species? God's not going to have that. It's part of nature. It won't happen. We are going to eat our collective karma in a very bad way. So, my message is specifically to order followers today. I want you to think about what objective morality is. You don't steal and you don't initiate harm to others. Almost anything else you do is okay. I want you to think about your job. Are you initiating harm at any given time with some law that's arbitrary and not immoral, which is basically all drug laws? What we've put into our body is okay. When I think back of that stuff in the early 2000s and late 90s, when they were trying to decide if it was moral not to allow somebody to euthanasia to kill themselves. Dr. Kevorkian was blah blah blah. He was doing a service to the people who had made a decision they no longer wanted to live. You can get into all the whatever you want. It's like trying to keep somebody alive who decides to quit eating their food and they don't want to take their meds anymore. They've made a decision, so they want to make it to their only time that a life can be taken is when it's by the government. I'm trying to think. This was a news story I heard, and I don't even know if it was China or Russia. I think it was China. And I'm not going to be going verbatim here, but they wanted to kill somebody for the state, death sentence. He was sentenced to death, and they couldn't kill him because he wasn't healthy. They had to do medical treatment and medication, all sorts of stuff, to get in this perfect healthy state before they can kill him. Wow, they're so nice. They're such nice people. Uh, you know, I went at some friends online recently uh, that I'm still was mad about stuff from 2020. I just decided to let it out a little bit. I wasn't like doing it in an angry way, although who cares if I was. There's a lot I could say. I sound very cynical as I start talking about it. I guess the main thing I want to say is I'm not doing this because I need to get my pound of flesh back. My last employee eval was stellar, unfortunately, but it did help me with some things. Maybe they made it stellar for a reason and it backfired. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. I had to think to myself, what am I doing this for? I'm not doing this because I want to even be known. I'm not doing this because I'm not trying to sell books. I've never done none of that shit. I'm begrudgingly doing it. I don't want to be known. I'd like to live happily ever after all the freaking shit I've been through in my life. I deserve it. I would love to live happily ever after. Like, I hope I can get to that point for a little bit, but I doubt that's going to happen. Um, I'm doing it because I'm angry, because I was bamboozled and I was wrong. And I want to actually fulfill the oath that I thought I was actually taking. So, order followers, if you have to live and work within a contradictive environment, that means what you're doing isn't right, it's wrong. Really consider laying down your arms and quitting your job before they start giving you more orders to do. They're going to they're going to obfuscate what's moral and what's not, and they're going to have you, like in the 80s, fighting each other, which is already starting to take place down in Texas between the National Guard and Border Patrol and troops that they want to escort people in. So there's already issues down there because they're making it like that. They want as much contradicting stuff as possible. Keep you confused. Keep it confused, keep you tired, keep you aggravated, keep you from thinking with your own mind. Because if you thought with your own mind, if we can get people to start doing that, everybody would put down their guns. Everybody would quit pointing the fingers at other people and quit looking at other people. And everybody would turn their attention to those who rule us all over the world. There's about 6,000 rulers in this world. There's another several million, 20, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million soldiers who enforce their arbitrary dictates. You know, under 75 million people ruled this world in a world of 8 billion people. We've got them outnumbered. People don't understand that an actual false flag event can be planned and allowed. People don't understand that a group within a country calling themselves Hamas is a terroristic group, even to the people of that country. Should the United States of America be shunned and bombed by anybody because we've got the Crips and the Bloods who are gangs? You know, I witnessed some horrific stuff at the hands of gangs right here in Cleveland. It doesn't mean everybody in Cleveland should be bombed because of those gangs. Hamas is a gang. And this time around, they were a well-funded, organized gang. Guess what? Who they're being funded by. Guess what they're being funded by. Quit listening to the fucking news. Is all I'm saying. Look at the contradictions within any belief system, and when they're there to fuck you up and confuse you. Throw the whole belief system out. Yes, baby bathwater and all, just throw it the fuck out. Okay, the Old Testament, that God, that's not a God, that's a devil who wanted blood sacrifices. When Jesus tried to teach that, they crucified him for it, or attempted to, if you've ever read the book of the sins. The Essenes were a Jewish group of nomadic gypsies, anarchists basically, who had advanced healing modalities, energy healing, crystals, things of that nature. Jesus spent 10 years with them. Might be where he learned some of his healing things that seemed miraculous at the time. um, and it just so happens to be from that same area of the world, Palestine, there were the Palestinian Bedouins who had the same MO as the Jewish Essenes. Okay, the Hebrew Jews who were actually Semitic, not the current people who identify with the Jewish religion, who are from Poland, Germany, and England, and all the other Aryan nations, who are at the behest of a Satanist Rothschild, 67. I'm really in the 19th century right now, 20th century with what I'm talking about, but this goes back several thousand years. The sea people settled that area in 13,000 BCE after the last great deluge, one of many deluges that this world has known, which is connected to other things, which is why you have to read these other books I've talked about. There is science involved. A large planet was returning back into this solar system on its way back in and pretty close, it would start spitting things from the Kuiper Belt at us, especially a planet that's 50% larger than Jupiter. Why is he speaking? What's he talking about? Oh, I don't know. Praise God, Allah, and all the other made up beings that we praise. I'm talking about that. Okay. I know I'm not making any friends or convincing anybody the way I speak sometimes, but I'm going to work on my delivery. I just want to make it clear about some things that I am not. I'm not doing this because I need to get a pound of flesh back. I'm doing this because I'd like to fulfill the oath I thought I was taking. And I was able to say that I was bamboozled, I was fooled, I was wrong. And this is what happens when you allow all those bamboozles. When you can't admit you're wrong, there you are. You end up in a firing line because you can't end up who you don't. Your ego will keep you doing stupid stuff and believing stupid stuff because you live within contradictions. You'll get on a bus or you'll get on a train and be taken someplace for your safety. Next thing you know, you're being thrown in a fucking oven, or you're being put in some factory where they've got guillotines. 2013, 30,000 guillotines were purchased by the U.S. Army, and MPs were being trained on how to use them. They didn't question why there was 13,000 of them. We're going to be beheading a lot of bad guys in mass. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. And it's politicians who determine who the bad guys are. And they're working for something very evil besides their own evilness. They're working for something evil. You guys can't even put your mind around that or fathom it. But God and the devil exist. There's a difference between Satanism and the devil. That's another thing. You have to research. There's so many places you can go to research now. There's so much information out there that can help you. This makes me sad every time I see it. I wish I didn't even put this in here. They're doing an ethnic cleansing over there, killing children. There's no excuse for it. What happened on October 7th was what we call a false flag event, which means it really happened. It wasn't false that it happened, but it was by a gang of mercenaries, well funded this time around, and they were allowed to get in the Iron Dome on gliders. On gliders, makes perfect sense. Why didn't we think to do that years ago? Well, gliders have always been around. Why didn't we do that years ago? On gliders, they're fucking up. They couldn't use gliders with little fans on them like a long time ago. It just happened in the 90s. It's the same thing the guy was using who entered the Riddick Bowe fight in Vegas. Maybe they got their training from him to attack the most advanced, secured city in the world. Perfect sense. And while certain things were going on, where was all I've watched enough and done enough research and read enough books. They live in a police state. You can't get more than every 50 yards, 100 yards, you're at a checkpoint. Where was all the security that day? Use some common fucking sense, for God's sakes. This is ridiculous. Here, you want a theory? They're the children of Atlantis. Their Rh negative blood isn't affected by the needlecraft. So they're doing an ethnic cleansing on purpose. Think about that. Quit letting the news get you into this murder mood. Start having some love and some compassion for these children that are being murdered. I have compassion for anyone who was murdered on October 7th also, because they were pawns in a bigger fucking game. People who don't understand, World War III is coming. We are already in World War III. And I'm doing what I'm trying to do is protect children and our children's children. And man, it gets aggravating. I'm telling you, you're speaking to fucking little retards who just want to see murder. That's what I feel like. Do some internal work yourself and admit where you've been wrong in life, so you don't end up standing in one of these lines with your kids. Okay, that's my message for Wednesday. Nothing but love. Until next time, peace. Stay safe.
Stand and fight. Live by your heart. Always one more try.